After that, majority of members, 20 members are from media in different sections. Seven are from working journalists, reporters, six are from editors, and six are from owners and managers. Now the question is how to select them. Every media house will claim a seat in the assembly, in the press council, which is not possible. So there is a very democratic process of all the media organizations, the of state level or central level. They nominate a representative to the press council. Then among them, those who get maximum vote in that category, suppose out of reporters there are 200 candidates, 100, those who are supported by maximum associations or unions or federations, they are selected. Same thing happens in case of editors, same thing happens in case of owners. Then there are five members of parliament who are normally on close links with media. Those who are earlier media persons or there's some media house, they are related to media. And there are three persons, eminent persons. One is from the judiciary, that is Bar Council of India. Another is from literature, that is Sahitya Academy, we call. And the one from this education sector, that is called UGC. So these 28 persons plus headed by one press council, headed by one Supreme Court retired judge, heads the press council. So this is the basically composition I'm saying everywhere. And what good thing has happened, like some countries like say Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, uh, Nepal, some other countries, even in Pakistan, they have followed this model. So they also have gone accepted with this model and to find out the press, to form a press council. So sometimes there is deviation, sometimes there are some changes, but more or less that is the composition of press or media councils of South Asian countries or Asian countries more or less. So that is supposed to be a model. As far as composition part is concerned.
Mr. Sibyl Panda, congratulations, you are a member designate, meaning what you are elected, you will tell us you are elected to become a member of the council. And once you join the council,
just a small clarification.
sorry,
Both of us have been elected as to the members of the council, but it takes a process, long process. The process is on. So officially it has not been declared. So when it will be declared, notification is due.
you will be Secretary General.
No, he'll be member. He's one of the, what you call director.
Okay.
So I will also be member.
You're also going to be a member.
Yeah.
So congratulations, double. I'm the former chairman, Media Council of Kenya.
So, yeah, we met.
Okay, so now, when you take, give me the mic, please. Give him the mic.
Yeah,
One more mic.
No interest.
So when you joined the council, you had the South African member tell us here that they have enough power even to suspend rebellious publications that do not follow the code. India, do you have any teeth in your regulation? Or do you just warn and do nothing? You can do nothing? Or can you do something to newspapers, radio stations that we've read internationally sometimes some regions complaining of big media bias to regions that claim that the government is against them? Do you have leeway to control media and tell them to be balanced? What are your powers?
At first, many thanks to the organizers to arrange like such wonderful summit. I am very grateful to be here as a participant. About Press Council of India, you know, more than 140 crores people in India, huge population, and in India, more than 1 lakh registered and 900, more than 900 television channels, satellite television channels in India. Uncountable social media channels that YouTube, Insta, Facebook, it is difficult to control them. Press Council of India to Media Council of India, it is under consideration, but some hurdles are there, like who will be the media. It means government is taking as television channels, those are satellite television channels and websites, www news channels. Those are treated as social media and television channels also, like to particularly government has stipulatedly fixed one amount like 20 lakhs new viewers every month. Government decided to accept media persons of that particular websites. Those are called and renowned with more than 20 lakhs subscribers every month as a media, responsible media. Others, so many medias are there. They're making so many news, not dependable news. And at this time in India, most of corporate sectors and government departments are opening one department for facts findings, whether the facts are true or false. It is too difficult to recognize them. Government is planning to bring some modalities to regulate them. How can regulate them to the social medias? Because it is a time everyone can be a journalist to placing news. It is too difficult. Still, government has decided, India government has decided in future, it may be changed as Media Council of India. About regulations, Media Council, Press Council is meant for all, like some organization, if some journalist writing deliberately against some organization or some individuals, he may approach to the court, maybe local court, maybe district level court, maybe state level court, maybe high court, Supreme Court, but through local court only. Then it will take so many 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, no guarantee, because so many cases are there, lot of cases are coming. That's why Press Council is taking these cases. If somebody approaches to the Press Council of India, Press Council will decide within 2-3 months only, not more that. That's why people are first approaching to the Press Council, then only they are approaching to the court. And Press Council calling both of the party and discussing and listening. Then Press Council giving decision. That's why people are not going to the court, going to the Press Council. For this reason only, Press Council, the importance of Press Council of India is more impactable.
Thank you very much. I would like you to Press Council, Mr. Anayat could also answer that. You have the power to fine.
Yeah, just to,
Then I
yeah.
ask you a question.
Yeah.
You have the power to
Yeah,
fine the.
I'll just to supplement what Mr. Panda said. Look, Press Council of India functions as a quasi-judicial body, autonomous body. Sorry, Press Council of India functions as a quasi-judicial autonomous body. Half of its functions is like a court. Any complaint by the media or any complaint against the media is made to the Press Council free of cost, all online. Then council calls both the parties, both the respondents and the complainant. And on this spot, we have from two committees from the council, 14 members each. They go through the facts, they cross question. First, the parties are asked to present their reply, both in writing and verbally. Then Press Council takes a decision. And that decision is again approved by the full council. And as far as fine you are asking, any decision by the Press Council cannot be challenged in any lower court. They can only go to the two constitutional courts, that is High Court in the state and Supreme Court in the center. And just to elaborate to something more, if the council has the fine means, council has the power to censor, and if any paper or magazine or anybody is censored 3 times, his entire government advertisement is stopped. So that is more than any fine, because without government ad support, and if they continues, then their registration might also be cancelled. So it is a very serious body. People take it seriously, and it also decides serious cases against cabinet ministers, complained by the cabinet minister, both. And council has gone on merit because these 14 members are all independent. They don't belong to any political party or any other organization. So that is the situation as far as council's power is concerned.
Okay, thank you. I wanted you to explain the funding model. Yeah. Is mine clear? The microphone?
Yeah, my clear.
The funding model.
Yeah.
And is it enough? Does it make you operate? And does it make the government have leeway over the Press Council?
Look, anybody, whether it is judiciary or executive or legislature, all are funded by the government, because neither judiciary nor legislature nor executive cannot fund on their own. In the same case, Press Council or Media Council anywhere in the world cannot fund for themselves. But what we have done in India, which has been replicated by other press councils in Asia, we charge levies from our newspapers. Since we have more than 1 lakh newspapers, the levy amount is quite high. And unless you give levy, your registration might be challenged. So most of the newspapers comply by that, and that is a very good system of revenue. And I think what government spends nothing for press council, because the building is of the government and employees are government's employees. They take salary from the government. Extra, yes, might be some hearing, but in the other side, whatever expenditure the council makes, the much more benefit comes to the government, because otherwise they would have gone to courts. Courts everywhere is notorious for delay. But since most of the media cases, 19% media cases are decided by the council, that time of the court is saved. So it acts more, helps more to the government. A problem or question in India at least.
Okay, so the Mr. Panda now.
Yeah.
The code of conduct is increasingly being challenged by the emerging issues like AI. You had earlier here the Media Council of Kenya say they have upgraded the code to cope with the latest emerging issues, to include things like AI into the new code. Is that happening in a country like India that is far developed? And are you facing new challenges that you feel you must tackle by upgrading the code?
Definitely in India, many challenges are there to decide in the era of AI. Still, in India, some journalist, if some journalist publishing any news, fake news, and there is a name of as paid news. Some newspaper is publishing paid news. Paid news means somebody paying to publicize himself or his organization, paying money, and if that is not correct, it's created news, then, and if it is dangerous or not good for nation, press council taking cases from the public or from the press council side to take the decision and to punish the journalist. It may be social media or it may be a newspaper, to punish journalists as they are stopping. Press council advice to the government to stop advertisements for 15 days, 10 days, 2 months, or 1 year, 2 year, like this. That's why journalists are taking seriously it to those journalists, those organizations are real journalists, real organization, and frontline media, social media, or print media, or television are taking it seriously, and the different notifications of press council as coming to time to time when they are making news, like some girls, some victim below 18 years, if some cases are there, unhappened cases, then they cannot publish their names also. Children's, some, if some, as an example, one rape case, if newspaper or journalist are mentioning the girl's name, then in future the girls will with the problem. Then, that's why there is a notification by Press Council of India. A journalist cannot publish their name. They can use a fake name. That it is decided by the Press Council of India. And if someone publish this news like original name, then they will be punished by the Press Council of India.
Before we, because of our time, before we go to the audience,
Yeah.
Mr. Naya.
No, let me supplement this.
Okay.
Basically, we have two things. One is conduct, code of conduct, and second thing is this new challenges through AI. I will first deal with the code of conduct. You see, Press Council has a set of code of conduct. This code of conduct is based on the judgments done in the past. If some judgment is changed, then also the code of conduct changes, and that is published every year, updated and put on a website. Anybody can have access to that code of conduct. That is a very scientific and systematic way of setting a code of conduct, because what was code of conduct, say, 10 years ago may not be applicable now. And there are certain things like when artificial intelligence has already come, some crimes may not be detected. So how to do that? So for that, based on every judgment, the code of conduct is updated, and that is published every year, updated, so that people can know. That is as far as code of conduct is concerned. And as far as this judgment of other media is concerned, nowadays there is no limit on anybody, nor on industry, nor on media, nor on anybody, or not even in the political parties. So the number of media is increasing everywhere, not only in India, Asia, everywhere. So to bring them under one umbrella, government is considering to to expand the scope of press councils to media councils. Some countries already have a media council, like say Myanmar. Myanmar has a media council. Okay, so but they all follow that established rule, because the law cannot be changed, cannot be true for print and other for electronics. The law, whether it is violation of code of conduct, committing any crime, or reporting something paid news or unpaid news, these are all same. So that is the system the government is deliberating.
Mr. Panda, earlier you mentioned about Mr. Nayak, you mentioned about Pakistan. Are you working together across, even when there is political rivalry between your countries? Are media councils working together despite political hostility? Are you able to work together? The way Africa, there is a lot of working together, even if governments are not talking. Is it happening in Asia?
Actually, when India and Pakistan matter is coming, news channels are publishing both Pakistan situation and India situation, and arguments and discussions in nation problems and this relationship, India-Pakistan relationship decision. Indian news channels are taking the opinion of Pakistan's, and but this relation between India Pakistan, and that's why India is avoiding to play with cricket, play in Pakistan also. That still media should media relations should be there. I think it is my opinion that and media should work also for this better understanding of those countries, two countries.
Would you like to?
Yeah, just
Someone from who will give us a European view.
And
But first, please.
Yeah. Actually, media has no boundary, whether it is Africa or Asia or Europe. Media is independent, and press council and media councils are also independent. So they don't go by any political decisions. But yeah, national security is important. There has to be balance, and there is always press council goes for maintaining that balance. And I'll give you one example. In our World National Press Councils, where our that is based in Turkey, right now, India was a founder member, and there Pakistan is also a member. So there is no distinction between one country or other country. Media is one. So media exposes the truth wherever it happens. In case of a brief war or anything, the incident is reported without alliance to any particular country. That's what I can say.
Thank you very much. But we are still on. We would like to get please, you could give the microphone to Professor Laid Zaglami from Algeria.
Professor.
What I would like him to, before we move to the questions, he had a view we wanted him to express. He's a former member of the European Broadcasting Union, and he's a veteran in matters media councils from Algeria.
Thank you.
Sorry, I wanted to explain. Councils in Europe seem to thrive mostly in small Eastern European countries rather than in the big European countries where things are quite stable. How did you navigate that? Were they working? What model mostly worked? And challenges you faced, including funding?
Okay, thank you for.
Please, let's call you here on stage so that.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I have to thank you for this kind and unpredictable invitation. But I am happy to speak regarding the European Union for the only reason.
That's it.
Okay, you want me to sit? I was member of the European Broadcasting Union for 2 mandates because the whole North African countries have an association partnership with European Union. And my country has been on this partnership, I would say, union for 1965. Anyhow, so European Union, and particularly the European Broadcasting Union, is the body in charge of drawing up politics, policies, and regulation and practice, etc. So they have their own, they set up their own guidelines to be fully respected and observed by the 27 countries. But for sure, we cannot deny that there is no freedom or liberty or independence in those countries. But I give you just two examples. One which is close to my country, France. France, they have what they call the Audiovisual High Council, Conseil supérieur de l'audiovisuel. It plays the role of gendarme of audiovisual within France. Take the example of UK, which is not very of European Union, but still of European Broadcasting Union. They have what they call the Ofcom, Office of Communication. Again, this is a body in charge all of details regarding how to organize, how to manage communication audiovisual, whether it is on analogic or digital. Talking about digital, very recently, a European Union adopted a new act we call DSA, Digital Services Act. And of course, this guidelines is to organize digital era. So, of course, I'm not here in position to criticize media freedom, but there are some time criticism from the media council are appointed. In France, which is close to as well as Britain, some of the members are designated or appointed on political orientation and political motivation. We cannot deny that. Don't expect that they are the perfect example. But still, when it comes the way of dealing or reporting or international media like in and Russia or in Palestine, Gaza, or in Africa, most of the European media are distorting the truth. But the media council, I would say, they are encouraging this sometimes biased way of reporting events. So that's to say, that's I said this morning, we don't have a lot to learn from. They have their own conception of values, of principles. We should have our own. And that's why I have made about a few weeks ago a presentation on how the is covering Africa. And it's very disgraceful. They are from the reality. They portrayed Africa, continent of all these bad things. So that's to say, of course, Europe has its own values according to their own standards. That's why we African, we should fight to secure our own continental body. If there are some particularities between in politics, in politics, in economics and social, but overall, they have their own, the European, they have their own media council, and each country has its own. Of course, they give the impression in the appearance they are independent, they are free from any political or financial interference. But we like it or not, there are the interests of those who are the lobbies and pressure.
Thank you. Before we move to the questions, and we apologize for not telling you earlier, the Secretary General of World Association of Press Councils Kishore Shriesta. We will request you you can come to the stage, please, or you can comment from there.
Please come to the stage, it will be better. Kishore Shrestha from World Secretary General of World National Press Councils. Since WAPC also deals with Africa, Asia, and Europe, so he will be in a better position to say about it.
To feel, okay, please give him the mic. Why we requested you to fill in the comment is because in this panel we had Europe, but we missed the European representation, and you have experiences across. So explain to us the role, especially.
Dear friends, it's a happy moment to be with you here again today. We were here in 2012 when our dear President Kajubi Mukazanga, Ziada Kilabo, and these friends, they worked very hard to bring the people from the rest of the world to have interaction with you and know more from your experiences. So today we are from different countries, from Asia, Myanmar, India, and Kosovo, Serbia, Algeria, and different countries out here, not only South African friends. Definitely, time has changed, technology has developed, and our area experiences, our challenges are getting bigger and bigger because of AI technology, content creation, and so many different innovations are making life more complicated, more challenging, and people always want to get more freedom. But at least freedom has also its limitation. Without limitation, nothing is possible in the world. And despite of more challenges, despite of more innovations, we need to be more responsible as well. Why the countries, so-called democratic countries in the world, they're compelled to write in their constitution, their preamble and their manifest that they are press freedom. But we shouldn't forget that despite of press freedom, there is media responsibility as well. And what is responsibility means to verify the informations we achieve and present with solid confirmation, solid proofs, and making it more beautifully presented that it won't harm life of humankind. It won't create communal harmony. It won't create any religious conflict. It won't create any war. Rather, make a role in bringing the conflicting parties together on the table of peace and negotiation. So we have more challenges. Our pain is stronger than a rifle, stronger than one missile. That's why people, we always, though, I could notice that we are sitting here, but our concentration is on our cell phone. We are checking the stories, informations, news published recently around the globe, around surroundings, our areas, what's happening. Our first priority is not sleep, not eating food or etc. First priority of this age, humankind, is information. So information should be presented without confusion, illusion, or any kind of things. That's why we media people are more responsible than any other politicians. The military, they have their certain duties to protect their borderland, their sovereignty, their country, and etc. But we have more and more responsibility, which creates social harmony, unity, and bond of friendship, bond of duties, whatever. So It's good again that we are here together. We have heard impressions of India, Algeria, and African countries, UNESCO, and many more dignitaries. Thank you very much for your opportunity, chance, and time.
So thank you very much. Thank you for calling on short notice, and that's a very good insight. So now we open the floor to questions. You can ask any question. Please supply the microphone to anyone with a question, and even comment.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm chairman of a press concern from Myanmar, the neighboring country of India. Now, I'd like to share just a little about Myanmar press concern and Myanmar news media law. Because since 2011 to 15, I was one of the member of Myanmar Press Council. At that time, we prepared the draft of Myanmar News Media Council. And then News Media Council law and code of conduct was declared by a parliament of government. And then now this the new press council, and the fourth time, the one time is 3 years. Now me and my colleagues as secretary, we're from 2024 to 2027. Altogether 25 members. Now we are trying to promote to our media industry, especially focusing on to reduce fake and false news, and also urgently disseminating of the true news, the realistic real news. This is our aim, our main activity. And then the second one is we promote our media professional to be more ethical, and then and protect them. Now, in my country, I like to share a little press freedom from 2012. We got press freedom in my country because we don't need to through the censorship, submit to the censorship. We freely distribute, and in 2013 we get the chance to publish private newspaper. Up to now, this is our situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. In the presentation, we were told that sometimes it's very difficult to monitor all the medias in India. Don't you think that it is high time then you should consider having council in each of the states? I think India has got 28 states. Why don't you have a council for each state? Because each state is bigger than Tanzania almost. 1, 2. I haven't heard you talking about censorship in India. To the best of my knowledge, there are almost more than 2,000 accounts, sometimes between May and June, were blocked. What can you tell us about this one? Including the one, I think, Reuters, but I'm not sure about Al Jazeera. Can you share some information about this one? The last point, there have been some killings in India. You haven't killings. One of them
was a very courageous journalist. I think Mukesh, he was murdered because he wrote about corruption. Can you tell us what are you doing about these affairs? Thank you.
Basically, you have three questions. Sir, your first question, why each state should not have a council and headed by the Central Press Council? India has 29 states and 10 union territories. You are right that some of the states are bigger than some of the African countries. What we do, instead of going through that, we from whichever state or whichever region we receive maximum complaint, we go and hold our press council meeting in that place. Suppose we get more complaint from Northeast, East, Bihar, and some other states, then instead of holding the press council meeting or press council inquiry committee in Delhi, we hold it in Patna or Calcutta or Bhubaneswar or Guwahati, so that the complainants by the media and against the media do not come to capital. We go there to the doorstep. That is we call justice delivered at doorstep. And number two, you ask about, yeah. Sir, I need your attention. Sir, I need your attention. You asked about the closing of the accounts. The fact is, these accounts are closed only when there is a situation, a riot type of situation or communal disharmony, when it is feared that internet is going to affect, inside the violence, or will not help in controlling the law and order issues. Only that time some accounts are closed. It is not a permanent thing, or it is not a continuing thing. It is from time to time, depending on the situation, that thing is done. Press in average is not affected that way, in particularly that way. But suppose in one state there is some problem, then in that particular area only the internet is stopped or account is blocked for brief period, not for entertainment. And about the killings you have asked, look, India itself is the biggest populous country of world. So also India has the biggest media. There will be some incidents where journalists might be right, where journalists might be wrong. You cannot generalize things on that, the journalists are killed in India or not killed in India like that. And about the censorship, there is no official censorship, I can tell you. There is only an aberration of some period earlier, but no, for a long time, there is no question of any censorship on any media in India. But yes, there is something called fact check. Means any news which does not seem to be correct is checked officially through background and other things, whether that news is correct or not. But that again, action is not taken on that. Only government tries to find out, or the council tries to find out whether it is a fact or not. If the council finds out it is a fact, then appropriate action is taken against that media house or against that person against whom the media house has complained. Thank you.
Thank you. We can take two more questions.
Well, I'm happy for the gentleman from India. I had a time at the Indian Express attached in some of the program, but I wanted to ask, there was a big problem with the Indian media that they were adamant to report some issues, especially related to VHP, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, and in fact they're saying this grew up from being a fundamentalist group to a party that came to rule the country. But there are also other fundamentalist groups in India that when it comes to doing coverage in the media, like Vish Sena, journalists are sort of adamant to report accurately about most of the issues that are happening, and especially anti-Christian and Muslim sentiments. Thank you.
broadly, what I got from you, that there are certain attacks or there are certain incidents on certain communities. Look, first of all, whether it happens in India or Sri Lanka or Myanmar or anywhere, first of all, they are citizens of their country. Then they are Hindus or Muslims or Christians. That way, you cannot say any religion community is affected. Yes, Hindus are majority, then Muslims are also having vast majority. India has one of the most Muslim population in the world after Indonesia and Pakistan. India has the maximum Muslim population. So if there is any attack, it is based on the individual. It is never hardly based on religion. And when you go to the root of the problem, you might find that that situation on any particular community might have some relation to some property or some personal relationship. So you cannot generalize that one any other community is targeted anywhere. And as far as you media reports fairly in India, the attachment of Indian Express, you are example, there was only a aberration period in emergency. That is not there was an exception, one-time exception, and never happened after that. And we hope, we pray, we hope it will never happen in future. Thank you.
Thank you. One more question.
Thank you very much for such an educative presentation. But as a participant, I have an observation. Listening to presentations, it sounds like all of you are regulators more than promoters of enabling environment for independent editorial. What I heard from Myanmar, a country that I supposedly is a little different democratically, is not very different from what I heard from Europe or from India. So my question is, to what extent are the media councils that have been presented here are kind of promoting evidence or testimonies of promotion of editorial independence and therefore protection of the journalists? Thank you.
We can have that answered by WABC because yours is a big umbrella. Did you get the question? Mostly she's saying that most of them councils seem bent on regulating, not promoting media freedom and independence, right? Even where there is a lot of freedom, we don't even need more freedom like Europe. It still sounds like regulation is the thing. Like councils are keen to toe government policy, correct? Rather than promote media freedom, welfare.
But the reason is most of the councils are nominated. The leadership is nominated by the government. You have some experience, good experience in South African countries. You can select, elect, or choose from yourself, from the stakeholders. But if you see in Asian countries, some other countries like Myanmar, India, Nepal, Pakistan, or these areas, you can find more, that we have to ask for budget. If we organize such kind of events here, we need to seek support of financial support from the government. Or we need to seek some sort of support for trainings and other things from the government. Nominations are made by the government, like in India and Bangladesh, Pakistan, the chairman comes from the background of Supreme Court, the judge. It's kind of shadow. Press councils or media council become shadowed sometimes of the part of government. That's one of that's the reason. And another thing is what we are trying to focus is, in some regions it's becoming a regulatory body, but controlling the media, giving punishment to media people in the name of prize, reward, punishment. So such kind of unpractical, very old, on the basis of old law, regulations, such kind of bodies, not exactly independent, but semi-independent, semi-autonomous type of bodies are being unable to give justice to the media people, protect press freedom properly, and these are the things which is not matching with exact principle of press freedom.
I'd like to say that please distinguish between government and media press councils. You cannot equate government with courts. You cannot equate government with legislature. These are all separate bodies. The press is called fourth pillar of democracy. And as far as this country-wide, first of all, council or media council is a media council. The two basic purposes to uphold the press freedom and second, look up the welfare of the media. These are two basic principles of all media councils, whether it is India, Myanmar, or Kosovo, or Turkey. That is the basic mandate. Now, how far that mandate is implemented, not that depends on the council. It varies from council to council, and it varies from time to time. All judiciary cannot be independent every time. There might be constants. Similarly, there might be constants, but a basic principle is media councils or press councils are meant to protect the freedom of the press and look after the welfare of the media. That is the issue. And yes, nominations are always made by the government. But that is, as far as Press Council of India is concerned, that is a formal government notification. Otherwise, the members are always, these 20 members, each of them are always elected by their respective associations and collectively elected by all the associations. That is the situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you, panelists, Mr. Nayak, Mr. Sudhir. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay, let's have that question. Then we let you go last.
Dear moderator, I wanted to just make a little point here. In Dar es Salaam, in Tanzania, we do have an experience where a code of conduct for media practitioners was adopted in the so-called Dar es Salaam editorial declaration of editorial freedom, independence, and responsibility, called DEFIR. The Media Council of Tanzania did a lot of work here. I was part of the panel that drafted that declaration, and it was widely distributed and broadcast across the country. My surprise with this declaration is that the practitioners in the media industry are hardly interested in it. I don't hear it discussed. I don't hear feedback. I don't hear it held up as a document that can be used to further the strengthening of editorial independence and ethical behavior. Maybe we should find a way of encouraging media practitioners and their organizations, either newsrooms or broadcasting stations, to take note of the fact that these things exist and they should not be left to be dead letters on shelves, but should be utilized, one, to enhance the issues of responsibility and accountability, but also to enhance the issues of promotion of proper and ethical editorial and media practice. Thank you. I just wanted to make that thing clear. Thank you.
Maybe I can comment on that one because it's an East African one. And give an example of Kenya. Kenya has a code of conduct for practice of journalism in Kenya. You had the CEO who spoke earlier here said 2 months ago or so, it has been upgraded to include the latest issues like AI. In Kenya, it's entrenched in Schedule 2 of the Media Council Act. So it's in the Act. All the journalists in university, in diploma colleges, learn it. Because once they come out of university, they'll follow it. It is in the Media Council Act, and it can bind you. It spells out everything. It can bind you and it can protect you. If the government is coming against you, you can cite something in the code of conduct and say, I am allowed to publish this. Or Media Council in its regulation, once in a while, uses it to read out to journalists that when you do this, please make sure you stick to the code of conduct so that in case of anything, we will protect you. If you expose yourself outside the code of conduct, you already know it exists. So maybe in the Tanzanian one, I hope there are steps to have it once entrenched in the act. If it's in the act, it's more protective as it is also regulatory. Maybe that's the way they can compare. Professor Laid, you wanted to comment on something before we close?
Okay, let me make some modest assumption. First of all, the media, in terms of policy, strategy, or I would say infrastructure or department, is part of the political system in which they operate, to start with. So in order not to be misled by this or by any other, any system. And there is no universal media council system to be referred to. And neither there is no perfect one. What I want to say is that each media system, I mean, any media system should reflect the interest, the concern, the values, the principle of the country in which they operate. So we cannot get universal one, and for the only reason we have so many particularities. And what I want also to say, as David from the Council Media of Kenya, the contextualization is so important to define, to set up media council, and which, as I said to you, should reflect the particularity of the society, of the system in which we operate. As long as they reflect the value of respect, of harmony, of course, of sustainability, of professionalism, and more than of freedom. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, members of this panel. Mr. C.K. Nayak, Mr. Sudhir Panda, Professor Laid Zaglami, and Mr. Kishore Shrestha of Secretary General WAPC. Thank you for articulating the issues we had very well, and hope to meet you in future in another conference like this. Thank you. And my name is Maina Muirore, former Media Council Chairman.
Jada is our international coordinator, and from Namibia, David is our vice president. Thank you.
Yes, another round of applause for our panelists and the moderator, please. Thank you. I'm told since we had breakfast just shortly, maybe we can proceed with the last panel, and when we go for lunch, we are done for the day. What about that? Is that okay? Oh my God, I'm very popular. Okay, I'm looking for Mr. Harry Misiko, who is supposed to be the, oh, he's here. Harry, please, if you can come and introduce your panel, that will be interesting. Karibu sana. He will be back in a minute.
shipping quote just got so much easier. Your competitive shipping rate, lightning fast.
But when we break for lunch, please don't forget we have been invited, for those who are invited for the dinner for the 30th anniversary of Media Council of Tanzania. It will be held downstairs where we had breakfast. So please be here by 6, but we'll give another announcement before we finish the day, especially for tomorrow. The guest of honor will be early, so we are also supposed to be even more early before 8, so we'll have our breakfast there before the session begins. I'll give you more details before the end of the day.
Yeah. And they project. Great. Good afternoon. I'm observing all the protocols. Good afternoon. Are you happy to be here? All right. My name is Harry Misiko. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm happy to be here. I'll be leading the discussion to be done by panel 3 under the topic Building Trust in Digital Age, Journalism, Data Use and Privacy Across Continents. We are looking at the case of Africa, Europe, and Asia, because that's where we have representation. I'm not in the program because I'm stepping in for someone else. I'm a newsroom manager. I run the Nation Media Group newsroom as the managing editor in charge of content strategy. But besides that, I love training, and my area of focus is AI and how it's changing journalism. Then we have this discussion to do, and I'm aware that I'm standing between you and your lunch. So I'll be very brief, and even as my panel comes, nitawaambia wazingatie wakati. Why are we discussing this for the next 1 hour or so? There are 3 things. Trust, which is the crust of this discussion, is on trial across the globe. If you have had the chance to look at the latest Reuters Digital News Report 2025, trust in media and journalism is going down by the day. Luckily, Global South is doing way, way better than the North. But then there is concern number 2 about data protection and the regulations that are coming up. GDPR is a case in point, PDP in India, and even in Kenya, we have a Data Protection Act. So all these are shaping the practice, and we need to discuss these things because they are impacting what we do. Then number 3, there is rising data literacy and rights advocacy. And practitioners, just like regulators, academicians, researchers, and all of us need to be concerned. So that forms the background against which we are going to have this discussion. Then this, talk of data, it's all over. Data is here, data is there, and data is everywhere. So we have journalists using spreadsheets, scraping using code to get pieces of journalism centered around data. We have audience analytics. I think that is the ritual, daily ritual in the newsroom today. When they arrive for work, the first thing they look at is analytics. How did stories perform yesterday? How are we going to win the day? And they project using analytics. Your content, the one you're consuming on your phone, in some way or format, is being personalized to you increasingly, so that your homepage doesn't look exactly like mine. Then we have content targeting going together with personalization, but then even as we speak, someone is tapping on their phone, generating more data. For Meta, Facebook, and even WhatsApp. So as we speak, TikTok is getting someone's data from this room. Then finally, people are selling data. It's media business again. Terminals, talk of Reuters, talk of Bloomberg and the rest. They are selling data in the form of terminals. So we need to talk about data because it's forming the bulk of the practice, the things we do. and we need to be aware. Lastly, as we look at data and what they are doing with it, there are concerns that are coming up. Number one, and this is part of the discussion, how do we protect personal data and dignity of individuals media report on? Number two, how do we stay on the right side of data protection and digital rights laws? Laws that differ widely from Nairobi, Istanbul, Delhi, and even Brussels. Now, finally, and very important for this discussion, in the age of AI and other fourth industrial revolution technologies, deepfakes and misinformation, how do we build and sustain trust? But more importantly, because digital news report shows we have lost it, how do we regain that trust? That again forms the crust of this discussion. Now, our task with this panel coming here is just three things. We are going to share regulatory insights and ethical reflections centering on data protection regulations and how they are shaping the newsroom practice, the opportunities and the ethical dilemmas presented by emerging tech, and how all of us in this room can come together to actually build trust in what we do. So that forms the introduction of that panel. And to help us discuss this matter, we have this distinguished panel. As I call you, please wave to the team and come to the podium. So we have Immaculate Kasait, who is the Data Commission Office, who is coming from the Data Commissioner Office, Data Commissioner at the Office of Data Protection in Nairobi, Kenya. Immaculate, are you here? Right. Number two, Ai Chan, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, the General Secretary, Myanmar Press Council. Please come and take your seat. Thank you. Number three, CK Nayak, the President of Press Association in India. Welcome to the podium. Number four, Peter Okello Chabweli, Vice Chairperson, Media Council of Uganda. Are you somewhere? Peter Okello. Number five, Innocent Mungi, Head of PR Communication, Personal Data Protection Commission of Tanzania. Please welcome. Yes, in that order, you could take the extreme right. Then we have Tamar Atabur, member, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly again, member of the Turkish Press Council in Turkey. Please welcome. Then lastly, and not least, we have Ognian Latif, Senior Expert Communication for EU Commission Moderator. Are you here? Ognian Latif. Okay. So we are missing at least 2 or 3 people there, including the lady that we were expecting from Kenya. So this panel, as you can see, is cutting across Africa, Asia, and Europe. And we hope that we are going to get some insights into what is happening across the 3 continents as we discuss this. Please share the mics. I see you have 2 of them there. Just have it. All right. Who has it first? Peter, you have the mic?
Yes, we have one.
Yeah, you share it. So Peter, you can have it, and being the resident panelist, you can start as well. Just sharing, first of all, telling us who you are, but as you do that, please tell us how journalists and media will ensure that they trade in our data responsibly. Peter, you go first. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yes, you tell us who you are, but as you do that, you could also tell us how media and journalists could trade in our data more responsibly.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, it's a great pleasure and honor for me to attend the second Pan-African Media Council Summit and to be here today with the colleagues from the different parts of the Africa and also all over the world. So indeed, I would like to make in general some comments initially. So we are living in a time when information travels faster than ever before. And news reaches across the continents within the seconds. And stories, whether true or false, can impact public opinion, public authorities, and also political stability, and even the integrity of democratic institutions. So it is very critical. So in this volatile environment, the role of journalism has never been more critical and more complex. And in this perspective also, in the recent World Economic Forum's Global Risk report, ranks the misinformation and disinformation among the top global threats for the coming years. And this is not just a technological challenge indeed. It is a governance and trust and rights-based crisis that threatens the very fabric of the informed societies. And in such a fast-paced and digital-first world, journalism must be evolved, not only in how stories are told, but in how data is collected, protected, and interpreted. And most importantly, journalism must do all of these while upholding the human rights, digital freedoms, and trust in public institutions. Therefore, it is very critical, and we have different tasks and roles in the different stakeholders. So, for instance, as the media councils, we have to pay more attention about the digital journalism and data protection. And for instance, in Turkey, we have just renewed our code of conduct, and we have just as some items which are just directly related with the data protection and also digital journalism. And on the other hand, the governments and the authorities who are putting the legal framework, they should also pay attention to just issue those acts, but those issue of acts could just preserve save the rights, not go to just beyond the limit to just cut the freedom of expression, and it's the case in some of the countries.
Awesome. Thanks. Innocent, you can take the mic, and I'm looking at how do you evaluate the regulatory frameworks in this region and maybe continent? And in doing that, please reflect on the impact they have had on the practice and newsrooms.
Okay, first of all, we need to understand why personal data, especially in the region, but why is the media now need to be cautious on how they process, they collect data, but also where they store that information. In the region, and should I say, fortunately, like in Tanzania, our law is just about 2.5 years old. And we decided to implement it differently. We decided first to give the citizen at least to understand the data privacy, but also institutions that collect and process personal data to be aware of the obligation they have, especially in the newsroom. As in the newsroom, we do the analytics. I happen to work in the newsroom. Those long time ago when we didn't have the machines to process information. So in the region, this is a new thing. Yes, Kenya, Madagascar, I think, and Mauritius were the early bird singers. They had a lot to put in place, and we have borrowed their ideas from the region, but also from the GDPR. One issue that come into mind when we discuss the new trends in personal data protection with the media is the issues about data subject rights. We don't have to worry, we don't have to panic. If the media houses get to be aware of the data subject rights and the personal data protection principles, we don't have to worry. How do we collect the information? Why the information? Where do we store it? And how do we use it? The issue of consent is critical because if you have my information, then you will process it, you gather and profile me so you can target me for marketing activities or whatever, then you have to give me a notice when you collect my data. Just inform me how long we will use that and let me consent to it. Then it will be okay for the rest of the issues. I think that is the only way we can survive as media houses. If I may add, I'm championing the Tanzania Data Protection Public Awareness, and there are issues that I see. Some just take it like it's any other business, but we are living in the era of paradigm shifts about using personal information for our own, whether it's gain or business, but it's the time of digital transformation, paradigm shift in the media houses, but in individuals. I champion the data subject rights, and I see when they realize what is there for them, they have made this also as a business for them. They want the media houses to get it wrong, so they get it right.
I like that. They want the media business to get it wrong, so they get it right. Nayak, you're next. You're from India. You have data protection law in place. I'm just wondering, as you tell us what you do in India, how do these regulations, do they really strengthen or they are constricting the practice of journalism, especially investigative journalism?
Actually, as you know, it is the biggest democracy. So before any law is formed by any government, led by any party, the usual system is first government brings out with a draft regulation, giving the government's opinion on what should be the different sections of that rule for the data protection or anything. Then the stakeholders, and it is put on public domain on government website. Then the stakeholders or anybody else, even any Indian citizen, they are requested to give their opinion on this particular bill and law and section-wise reply if they want any improvement, any deletion, any addition, any editing. After that thorough exercise and lengthy exercise, sometimes that date is also extended to seek more opinion from different people. And once all these opinions are taken, then the final draft rule is formed on data protection or anything else. Then it is put to the lower house of parliament, which is directly elected by the people of India, the politicians of India. So all these MPs, they deliberate on that. And if they agree, then it is goes to the higher upper house. If they do not agree, then normally a committee is formed. The committee belongs to all parties, not ruling, opposition, even smaller parties also. That committee takes a decision. Then also, if there is difference, despite that, then it is put to the Lok Sabha, means lower house of the parliament. Vote is taken. And once it is passed, then it goes to Rajya Sabha, the upper house. there also again vote is taken, where the government may or may not be in majority. So after this vote, if the bill gets majority, then only it goes to the President of India for her assent, and then it is notified. So this is the normal system of any important bill formulated in India, whether it is data protection or anything else. So government, in this case, government has also done the same thing on data protection. They have put it in public domain, sought opinion, then after the opinion is taken, then it will go to different process. That is the issue.
Awesome. So thanks for emphasizing the issue of participatory legislation and how everyone else has a chance to seek redress in case they feel they've been constrained. Chan, you're next, and you're from Myanmar. As you tell us what you do, what are the red lines that you see newsrooms and journalists crossing in this data protection? The risks.
Well, okay, I'm Aichan. A lot of people also call me Sunny. Yeah, I'm the General Secretary of the Myanmar Media Council, Myanmar Press Council. Right, so the here is, we will the data integrity, actually, because Myanmar is being a very developing country, we are faced with the fake news issues on the platform. So the journalists, the government is unable to fight the fake news, right? From the way that there's election fraud in the 2020 to until now, and then now it's a lot better because after the March 2025, when Mr. Donald Trump cut off the USA, right? This year, actually, we have to realize that media is always tied to politics, right? If you want to influence the politics, right? Media is a kingmaker, they used to say, right? So, US want to influence the Myanmar politics, and so we have the fake news agencies in the neighboring Thailand. So every day they are getting, every month they're getting like $25,000 a month, these agencies from USA. And every day they are publishing the fake news. So how do we counter that? So that becomes a very, what is that? A Kilimanjaro to climb, too high to climb. Yeah, so we cannot climb, the government cannot climb the mountain. So that's the key issue that we are facing. And also, since the Donald Trump time, the Facebook already gathered out the fact checking. There's no fact checking on the Facebook anymore. So what I'm trying to say, when the fake news agency publish something on the Facebook, right? If we report that news on the Facebook, right? If you report because you don't agree with that or these are fake news. Then, if it is not in English, if it is in Myanmar language, the people who are administering is not an algorithm. If it is in English, like I publish an English language journal, Myanmar Insider, right? That's why my journal never get dropped from the Facebook because it's in English. So we are governed by the algorithm, whether I breach any of the Facebook law. But if the publication is in Myanmar language, it cannot be governed by algorithm. Algorithm doesn't work. Until now, the translation, Google Translate, it doesn't work that well. So the people who decide whether to bring down the news or to spread this news is the human beings who are employed by the Facebook. There are about 12 Myanmar people in California employed by Facebook. There are 4 or 5 of them in Singapore, right? So these people decide whether the news should be on a platform or not. So that is the data integrity and issue. So, and once these people are anti-government or they don't like the establishment, then the news, whatever the government news, Facebook will bring it down. Or the opposition fake news, they will push it out. So that's the key issue that we're facing as a developing country.
And I'm happy that you brought up the issue of the unseen editors editing editors, algorithms, and how they are actually tilting this playground. Before we look at the algorithmic bias, I just want to inform the audience that you have a chance to shoot a question to the panel. So if you have one, please prepare. I'll give you a chance to shoot 1 or 2 or 3 questions. to the panelists. Peter, let's look, Innocent, let's look at algorithmic bias. And I'm just wondering, as he says, we have a few guys practicing journalism, data-driven journalism. They do their thing, they put the story out there. But whether you see it or it will be biased in any way, again, we have the unseen editor at Silicon Valley, Meta person, the algorithm. Do you think, especially media in the global south, is prepared for what algorithms are about to do when you talk of algorithmic bias in data-driven journalism?
Thank you. Being a strategic communicator, at times I find myself in a limbo, especially when you see how those algorithms can create biases against certain class or political biasness. What worries me, especially at the world level, is the echo chambers the media is making in the public domains. If you follow a certain individual who has a bias thinking, then the algorithm, like in social medias, they will actually direct you to similar kind of information. As a result, you'll never be able to get the other side stories, but you remain in an echo chamber that you hear, you process, you collect information that are not only biased, but can profile you and make you a victim of a particular intent, whether if it's by the media itself or by individuals or companies that intend sometimes to manipulate or make people believe in a certain way or looking at things in a certain way. So during these times of data protection, we need to be careful as a media, how we use even the apps that are provided for us to do our journalism works, and do what we call in the data protection, something called data protection impact assessment, that you have to assess the software you are using, the apps you are using, so you are not caught up in the echo chamber of the intended big world mission, if I may say so.
And thanks for making that point, because the new algorithm that I think newsrooms across the continent are adopting the AI models. And the question is, do you have the ability to examine the models that you are adopting, whether you're going to colonize and train it internally, or you're taking a pre-trained model to work for your journalism? I think it's an important question for people.
To be honest, they already made in the market AI and artificial intelligence solutions need to be retrained. You can use one. For myself, I've trained an assistant, an AI portfolio as my own assistant, but I've trained it, I've given it information from time to time, checking whether it corrects what I do. So in the end, I think it's starting to look like it's becoming a better me. But in doing that, you need a lot of resources, but a lot of how to choose which AI model you're going to use and why, testing it and making sure it actually helps you rather than being a biased resolution for you.
Awesome. Is next. Thank you. And now we have to rebuild this trust. And I'm just wondering, given the flood of misinformation, deepfakes, and everything around information disorder, how could newsrooms build trust in this whole polluted environment? In any approaches they could use?
Indeed, when we are talking about the journalism and data, there is a very close and very risky link between them. So it is between the opportunity and responsibility. So today we see immense potential in data-driven journalism, and from investigative reporting to the which is maybe just covering the corruption to real-time data analysis during the humanitarian crisis, or data on the other hand empowers the journalists to tell deeper and more accurate stories to their followers. But with this power, it also comes with the responsibility to the journalism. So the ethical issues getting more and more important in this perspective. So the rapid advancement of artificial intelligence, as you have been mentioned so far, the algorithmic content distribution and personalized news feeds can easily become a tools of manipulation. And if it's not used by ethically, then it's a big problem. It's a big problem. So it is increasing the risks of the journalists and also risk for the journalism in many parts of the world, and not only from the governments and the or the corruptions, but from the very technologies that shape our digital lives are the risks for all of us, I think. And so at the time when narratives are weaponized and truth is often contested, our responsibility is not only to report the facts, but to fortify the public's rights to know in an age where algorithms, AI, and surveillance can easily obscure it.
Awesome. And I can see many of you mentioning algorithms, tech companies, the hidden editors, the unseen editors, the unseen hand. I'm just wondering, you guys regulate the industry. What has been what have been your experience regulating big tech? And any of you will take this question. Is it an easy task? Are there specific interventions you guys have done? Europe is doing something around that, but what about your regions? Anyway, any of you can take the question.
Okay. Harry, it's not that easy to regulate the giants, especially the tech giants who are there not only to make profit, but to lead in everything as they can. Our law in Tanzania require all the big tech to be registered with the Personal Data Protection Commission. We thank some of them, like Meta, are also opening an office in Dar es Salaam. We know they used to have one they still have one in Nairobi, but because also they have a lot of followers in Tanzania, in our discussion, they think they should have their presence. But this will help us at least to know what is happening. I'm sure some of us here, we know what happened especially our colleagues in Kenya, the issue of Cambridge Analytica. Yes, so these people are making big businesses, and we as a good market for them, they can do anything to make sure they survive. But we as a country in Tanzania, we think how to regulate this is empowering the citizen to know their right. The citizen right as far as data protection is concerned. We have all the social media giants present in Dar es Salaam and in Tanzania. So these ones now we have to empower the citizen to know how their data is being collected, how it's being used, whether they have given consent or what. So this is a little bit way of how we can manage these big giants if we empower the citizen to know how their data are being used. If it's for business, then if they haven't given consent, then they know where to go.
And I know you're saying big tech, the empowerment of the ordinary person, but also that has implications even on the media houses, that we have now to deal with an empowered, informed audience, people who are giving us the information, and they are waiting for us to make a mistake so that they can correct it, as you put it. It's your chance, audience, and I'm just wondering if there are any questions for this panel. One or two could do, as we take the last round of questions. Mike, do you want to add something? Go on. Okay, yeah. Mike, please. Yes, sir. One, two, anyone else? Lady, sir, two, three. Thank you. And Prof, you could go. Your name, please, where you come from, and your question.
I need to stand. Okay. So thank you so much. My name is Ngana Bridget. I work for Nation Media Group back in Kenya. I think one of the main presenters in the morning session talked about how media governing councils should be looking at being proactive and preemptive and not reactive. But I'm thinking even the age of technology and AI, more or less, the world is responding to technology. And so my question to this panel, any of you, when we look at adoption of artificial intelligence in the running of newsrooms, are we also looking at it from the
Right, I saw people taking notes. Two, next. There another mic. Okay.
Thank you. My name is Abraham Marita. I work with Internews in Kenya. We have talked about AI, and the panel has been great enough to explain how it's being used in respective media houses and also within their own institutions. Mine is a simple question. I'm just wondering, when we are putting our subjects in mind, the people who consume media content and information, what are the guidelines we have put in place to protect them? Is there any, council member here that has implemented like a national guideline on safe use of artificial intelligence within their country for their journalists? I know in Kenya, the Media Council has already done that. So I would love to hear more on that. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to hear from the panel their view over the issue of big data, as well as the war of data between great powers. Thank you very much. Sorry? What he said? I want me I want to hear from the panel their view over this issue of big data, metadone, as well as this war of data between great powers, India, USA, and so forth. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to have a little comment on the use of AI, which is developing, it's growing by leaps and bounds, and we are putting so much trust in it that it's likely to impact on us sometimes very negatively. If we believe that what we get from AI, from things like ChatGPT, for instance, is gospel truth and you utilize it. I don't use analytics to do anything, no big business. I can't even sell 10 kilos of milk in a week. I only want to have information that I can use in useful discussions and debates and conversations. And I've discovered that however efficient AI is, it does not obviate the need to read books. Unfortunately, the youngsters have have declared books as their enemies, and they now completely rely on AI. And I think this is a big, big mistake. The only way that I have experienced that you can get useful contribution from AI is to be able to have information already, a pre-existing data of information that you have yourself in your head so that you can argue with AI. I'll give you an example. I'm looking for an Ethiopian emperor who was called the Barefoot Emperor. And the AI tells me Haile Selassie I. And I say, no, this is much earlier than Haile Selassie. And he lived in the 19th century, and 1, 2, 3, he corresponded with Queen Victoria and so on and so forth. And then after a few back and forth arguments, there's, oh yes, you are absolutely right. that is so we need to tell our younger and ourselves, honestly, AI cannot be trusted for everything that you're looking for. Have your own information as a pre-existing condition.
Thank you. You make a very important point. It's bad if I left the lady out. Please give her, then finish with the Prof.
Nation is good.
No. Go on.
I'm just trying to wonder, and I'm just posing my own confusion. I sometimes think that we are trying to convert a journalist into an encyclopedia. We're using terminologies or skills that are not existing. I hear us talking about media houses. Are there media houses any longer? We are talking about misconception, misinformation, assuming that a good journalist will balance their stories. But how do you balance stories when your sources are lying, for example? Who is there to vet and check whether the information given to journalists by our leaders are true, correctly, and checked from the sources? So I'm just thinking that maybe we need to focus more on innovation business models that are effective to the target audience that we as journalists are trying to fit, and the size is too big. It's like asking a younger Gen Z to wear a zone today. That's what I think we're doing, and that could be a little challenging in terms of effective delivery of what we want to do. So I'm thinking maybe there is a need to step out and start from the foundation as opposed to trying to fit the new pattern into an old whatever. Because all I'm saying here is someone trying to, excuse for lack of a better English word, to fit something that is maybe old schooled, maybe has seen its time, and to make it relevant. We're trying to make journalism and media relevant using the same principles while the world has been taken over by technology. So maybe instead of, we are blocking the tech guys from doing journalism because they cannot balance, they do not but we want journalists to do tech job. So I think I see that as a dynamic and they don't know how to handle it. Because at the end of the day, I mean, the GMC are not really interested in reading, but they have the money that we want to spend. Maybe it's about to what extent and what can we do to have a part of cake that is on the table, as opposed to saying someone is not doing their job, someone is whatever. So that's where I'm getting confused, that the discussions are starting somewhere in the middle, and every conference, every opportunity to sit down is just picking pieces from wherever, and nobody's looking at it as in a holistic manner so that we are able to put the right pieces in the right places. I think the puzzle is kind of,
Awesome. You didn't tell us your name though.
My name is Rosemary.
Okay, you're from?
I'm from Tanzania.
Awesome. Thank you,
I'm a
Rosemary.
student of Mr. General Mwengo over there.
Awesome. Great. Please, Prof, the last question. Thanks for the comments from Generali and Rosemary. Mike, please.
Thank you, Harry. And my question, my name is Nancy Buka from Aga Khan University in Nairobi. And my question is directed to my brother from Tanzania, who's on the panel. Thank you very much for your comments around the big tech companies. There has been, a lot of conversation with different bodies or different associations asking themselves within the region, how do we engage big tech companies and their relationship with news publishers? And I think when you spoke, the question that came to mind is that in as much as earlier conversations focused on the fact that regulation must be context specific, so what's happening in Kenya, what's happening in Tanzania, what's happening in Uganda is different. But is this then the opportunity for East Africa member states to engage in developing or implementing or evaluating some of the policy mechanisms that then would obligate some of the digital platforms and news publishers to start engaging? Because if we approach them as individual nations or as individual media entities, it becomes, it's almost impossible to do that. But if we went together as a regional bloc, might there be an opportunity for us to start having those discussions? And I'm interested in what your thoughts are on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Innocent, do you want to start where she stopped?
I start with where she stops. Well, an interesting question in regard to the maybe regional cooperation on how to manage or to handle the big tech as a region. Yes, we as a country, we believe that when we have a common ground of policy handshaking in a region or in African Union and having a perspective of, as most of us in Africa are end users of their product. So we need to understand exactly what we want as a region or as an African Union, and then we plan an approach given on our individual interest, but having a common interest that will oversee all our interests are being taken care of. What I've realized with my little experience with the Data Protection Commission of Tanzania, when we engage them, they are ready to listen, but I don't know whether we have them in here, and I don't mean to be arrogant, but also they have their interest. They are not doing us bread and butter for the sake of them loving us. So we need also to know what do we want from them? Why and how do we get it from them? Because they have an interest. We offer a market to them. So we need to meet at a certain level and agree on a win-win situation. One good thing about it, they are good listeners, but we don't have to forget they have an interest and a stake they want to accomplish. So I think I agree with you. We need to make sure we come together as a region. Let's handshake our policy, our intentions, and agree on the best interest. We don't have to get 100%, but at least we have to start somewhere, and then we see how we proceed from there. If I've answered your question. Yes. Would you want me also, maybe I can finish the rest of the question before?
another question.
Okay.
We are gathering here as NIMCA, and we are looking at the regional regulatory bodies for media, and I'm wondering, in your discussions in the boardroom where most of us are not, have you ever explored opportunities for regional code of conduct for practice of, say, data journalism? And is one in the offing?
Okay. First of all, we engaged our editors forum, and most of the editors who are sitting here, they came together with us, and after a session with them, we agreed to prepare one, not just from the government side, but from the private sector and the government. And I think the University of Dar es Salaam have come up with a proposal. They're still working on it. And even to have a handbook for journalists in relation to the personal data protection and the uses of analytics in their work. So we are still waiting to hear from them. They say they will present it to us, and we will see how we can work together, the government and private sector, in having something in common, because the data subject are the same that the government oversee, but also the private sector are working for them as well.
I hope it's all inclusive, including.
Yes, it will be. It will be. We believe in cooperation.
Naya, please go next. You could pick any of the questions. Do you want to respond to any that you noted? Or any questions that you picked that you wish to respond to?
No, I will not. He has to go.
Okay, at first, let me answer on behalf of Naresh.
Okay.
At first, on the AI issue, we did in Myanmar, like as recent as like 2 weeks ago, we did have a survey of the media entities in Myanmar about the use of the AI. That survey including the AI as well, the use of the AI. Currently, most of them are still using the AI for the research, rather than for easier research, rather than Google search. Because AI, you can use it on native language, right? Google search is a little bit difficult. Yeah, so Google search will come with the advertisement. AI don't have advertisement. So they are using the AI mainly for the research. At the same time, because right now, if people use the AI for writings and all these things, it's very painfully obvious, because AI cannot do the slant, right? Because if you want to write an article with a little bit of humor, the humor that AI write is totally the humor that what you have in, totally different from the humor that you have in your head, right? So when you read it, when the article is AI written, when you read it, you realize that it's written by the AI. So AI is only at this stage. It's not that, superly advanced. So talking about the big data and the big platforms, right? When we talk about big data, big platforms, there are two issues here. The first issue is the issue of the text. The second issue is the issues of news integrity. Text is because, for example, if you want to talk about ASEAN, within ASEAN, Facebook is only in Singapore, right? Facebook headquarters in Singapore. So Facebook income taxes are only paid in Singapore only. While Facebook is generating revenue from countries like Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, right, through the sponsor post, advertisement. We advertise, they earn like millions of dollars every month, but they're not paying the income tax in a country where the advertisement, the rest of revenue come from. Yeah, so that is the issue. So when you want to do the acting as a group together, so there is no incentive for the countries who are already receiving tax from Facebook to combine together and share the tax with the people from other countries. Yeah, so that's the issue of a grouping and doing it on a group basis. It's difficult because the impact of the platforms on one country is not the same as on another country. The last point I want to say is, when we talk about big data, the impact of the big platform, we cannot just look at the supply side. Supply side means the news supply side, right? The Facebook, there will be news, fake news, so many fake news. But we have to, I think it's part of the media council, it's part of the media industry to a little bit touch on the demand side too. Demand side means news consumer, the people who are using the news, people who are consuming the news. So if you can increase the digital literacy or education of these people, then they will be able to at least distinguish between what are the fake news look like and what are the not fake news. And so that is the part. And the other, last but not least, is a cross-border issue on the big data. For example, there are so many fake news agencies in Chiang Mai, riding on Myanmar, receiving support from USA. When these fake news agency produces the fake news, and these fake news are picked up by the social media people, social media news reporter in India, for example, right? So when these people from India report that Myanmar fake news, the whole world think that because India is a democracy, the news must be correct. Yeah, so that is the issue that we face again. Thank you.
Awesome. There is one, but the first question is not responded to. The one about the concerns around being reactive and proactive, and the issue of AI being used for censorship. Someone needs to respond to that.
Okay. I think that was asked by Bridget and
yeah.
Abraham.
Yes.
Yes. If you had my example, definitely AI is slowly becoming a tool for sponsorship. That's why I said we have to be careful, especially in the newsrooms, but given the technological advancement and the transformation we are seeing, sometimes we don't even know whether a particular news story is real or AI generated. These days, it gives me really difficult to even to understand whether what I'm seeing is real or is just an AI product. If I combine that with Abraham, how do we protect the mind of our data subject? Last year, during the election in the US, we had a deep fact of Biden saying that after retirement he's going to live in Zanzibar. You can imagine the excitement that we had. And some people in the neighborhood where he was supposed to be staying started even to renovate their houses. We hear it. So that actually Biden won't come by himself, will come with other people. So you can imagine the data subject who got that information, how they reacted. And some today they are asking, when is he coming back? So I think, Abraham, if I may respond to your question, we need to be more careful. I'll tell this to editors: check, recheck, fact check, and recheck again when you are maybe taking a story that you are not sure. But also ask, I hope the editors in the region have a WhatsApp group. You can check with your fellow editors and find out whether that story you're about to run is not only real, but if it makes sense.
If it makes sense. I like that. We have to make our closing remarks, so you'll respond to this as you make your closing remarks.
I would like to comment on the two questions that we have not.
That's fine. Okay, do that. You are also free to comment on Generali and her comments.
Okay.
Yes.
Those two questions were, one of them about the guideline and the other one is about big data. I think the AI guideline is very important, very crucial. But besides this, we have to empower the journalists with the digital literacy, which means the ethical use of AI and also the data mining and coding and use of the big data, because we know that the data is getting more crucial. Data is the king. So the journalists to know how they can use the data and how they can reach the real data. And on the other hand, as a journalist, we should use the AI as a tool, not vice versa. So we should not be used by AI. So this is also critical. So I would like just underline a few issues. Thank you.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And I think you're responding to the comment he made.
I can quickly respond to General Ulimwengu, and this is to agree with what he said. In fact, no AI can surpass human brain. The human brain is bigger than the AI because the AI is built by a human brain. So we don't have to trust them, but we need to train them at least use them and feed them enough information to help you at least even gain an added value to it, but don't trust them 100%. And lastly, as my finishing recommendation, let the newsroom be very responsible. We are living in a very difficult situation, and we need to adopt these laws and make them part of our life. They are not, for me, they are not meant really to disrupt the journalism. Dada Rose spoke here of the issues of the what is happening. No, the human beings have evolved, so journalism has evolved. Look at the pictures of our ancestors, even in the 60s and 70s. We are becoming more formed and look good.
Yeah.
So journalism as well is changing from the legacy media, what it used to be, and what it is now. And we have to embed the technological part of it, but also the use of AI, but by being more careful. Thank you very much for having me.
I really thank you. Next, I wish that you make your closing remarks around the data race. We have data race at personal, corporate, national, regional, and global scale. What will be the role of regulators like you in this race that we are watching unfold before us?
Look, normally the councils of the Press Council and Media Council, they don't go by totally, they judge the content. What is the content? Content is genuine or not? If the content is genuine and sourced, that is okay. Now, who's collecting that and to what extent, that normally the councils and media councils do not look into.
All right, and I thank you. Lastly, do you want to have a closing one?
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
final remarks.
Please close with any remarks around the issue of the rest I've just described. Everyone is rushing to acquire data. What will be the role of regulators like you, and what do you want the public to know?
Yeah, I guess you're totally right that everyone is rushing to acquire data. It's not only us, it's the government also. I'm sure you heard of the 5 I countries, US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and what's the other one? Canada, 5 I countries. They are tracking our upstream as well as downstream through the submarine cables. They are tracking the big data by these 5 I countries, surveillance operation, upstream, downstream. So your Gmail and all this don't really say once you get targeted by the US and all these 5 I countries. So it's not only the media that we are trying to capture the data, it's the government and the CIA, NSA, they are still trying to catch your data and trying to see what's been going on. Right, that's part of the international espionage operation anyway. So, media is changing, data is changing, everything we have to upgrade. Right, upgrade on not only on the supply side, which we supply side we use news agency, reporters, media people, also on the demand side, educating the public that the way that they are receiving the news is going to change forever.
Thank you. Please have your closing remark as we wind up.
I want to have some final remarks, but in another perspective. I am working on sustainability in the university also, so I would like to just make some reflection about sustainability and sustainable development. And the recent UN SDSN's report, the annual report, is showing that we are far away from achieving the sustainable development goals by 2030, which is also including the relative with the digital skills, digital rights, and journalism, etc. And we should not forget that journalism is a pillar of sustainable development. And in the digital age, it's also frontline for justice and the truth we know. And let us ensure that the digital transformation we are experiencing serves humanity, not harms it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of this panel discussion. I've been taking notes here and I noted 3 things. From this discussion, it's true that the panel feels the regulations that we've been putting in place at a practitioner level, being creator-led economy in content, newsroom level, regions, and even globally, should not stifle innovation, especially the practice of investigative journalism and everything around that content. Number two, that emerging technologies have brought very many possibilities of practicing data journalism, but then journalists have to be aware of ethical boundaries, sometimes in real time. And that is a challenge back to the practitioners. Then lastly, across the regions, building trust isn't one-off project. It's daily commitment to transparency, responsibility, and dialogue. So with that, we live and keep talking about this across newsrooms, regulatory bodies, classrooms, about how to keep data-driven journalism ethical, innovative, but most importantly, trusted. I thank you all. Thank you.
From a distinguished panelist to the MC, now I'll be giving you an announcement after the photo. Okay, let's put our hands together for the moderator and the panelist, me included. Thank you. Well, I have a few announcements. Okay, my bosses were giving me instruction about the announcement. First of all, thank you for staying to the end of day one. And before we proceed for our late lunch break, remember we have a cocktail in a few hours. Thank you very much for staying and coming together for this wonderful summit. And I'm sure we have learned, and the discussions will be ongoing during lunch during the next 3 days. So after lunch, some people are going to an excursion in Aitwaje art gallery, at the art gallery. But please, on your way out, there are some exhibitions outside the hotel. For those who are invited, Media Council of Tanzania 30 years anniversary is at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. yes, only for invitees, down where we are going to have lunch. But I want to inform you that tomorrow we have an early start. So if you can have your breakfast by 6. Okay, let's make it 6:15. Okay, if you can't have your breakfast in your hotel, we are preparing a breakfast at the venue where the ceremony will be held, but you have to be there by 6:30. The breakfast will be served from 6:30 to 7:30. And we are supposed to be seated by 8 because the guest of honor is coming by 8:30. And we have one distinguished guest. First, the vice president, who is going to be the guest of honor, but we also have the president of Zanzibar, who is a special guest during the ceremony. So please make sure you are seated by 8. Is that okay? That's better. But you can have your breakfast at 6 if you can, like I will do 5:30. Please don't forget your ID for access at the Arusha International Conference Center, where the tomorrow event is going to happen. Yes, Dr. Rosie? Departure to AICC. There are already cars that will take you from here and they will know where you are staying. For those who are here, they'll leave by 6 in the morning, 6:30 in the morning at least to be there. So in the hotel you are staying, if it's one of the designated hotel, you'll be given transport. Kindly, as you go out, take your lunch coupon and the bon appetit. Thank you very much and have a good afternoon.